and please give our love to the because you have a pretty important thing happening next month as well. So I don't know if that's
July
public
19th.
knowledge. Okay,
July
yes, yes,
19th.
yes.
Ocean and I are getting married. It's
Woo!
happening.
Yes, let's hear it for love. Let's hear it for love. And it was so funny I can just tell you all, he and I, Representative Pearson and I were on a panel talking about Black family and using the Black family or how the Black family can play a role in wealth cultivation and creation. And I got to be honest with you, it was an interesting panel for a whole host of reasons, but there is something so powerful about having people who are committed to upholding the institution of love and family, no matter what that looks like for you. And so it was a real honor to sit on that stage with you. But you are not here to discuss that panel. You have been pretty present and active in some really challenging situations taking place in Memphis right now, or in your district rather. Talk to us about what's going on, because this has all the makings of a horror story that might be visited on communities all across the country, particularly Black communities. What's happening in your district, and what's going on to help push back against it?
Absolutely. And I mean, a horror story is right. I really do think we're living in a very difficult time. And some of the folks like Jordan Peele and things, they say the reason they got into horror was because of the Black experience, right? Is very
Mm.
much like what you see in horror. And right now we have the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, 3 miles away from where we live, powering Grok, his XAI supercomputer, by polluting the lungs of the people in this neighborhood without a single permit. Now, if you want to build a fence in
Wow.
your house, you've got to get a permit from planning and development, approval from your neighborhood association or homeowners association. But he's literally built a gas plant 3 miles away, and hasn't gotten a single piece of paper that has given him permission to do so. And unfortunately, the way that the politicians here are operating, our mayors in particular, one mayor is acting really as a spokesperson for the company, the other is
Mm.
invisible. And the health department, which is supposed to protect our water and our air, is doing nothing to stop them from operating. And so we are living in a really difficult situation right now. And the movement is growing. More people are galvanizing and organizing. Even today, we're going to have an environmental justice dinner and learn so we can all be on the same page. And tomorrow, the president of the NAACP, Derek Johnson, is going to be here along with our folks from the Southern Environmental Law Center. So we're fighting
Wow.
back, but we're in a real situation right now.
So you mentioned a couple of things that I know got people's ears instantly perked. So Elon Musk, who we often call here elongated muskrat, but we're going to try to be official. Elon Musk, who lives in Texas technically, or has one of his companies based in Texas, is using the natural resources of your district in order to
Mm-hmm.
power his AI Grok. Now, you all may recall a few weeks ago we had Drew McCaskill on, and Drew McCaskill, who we absolutely love and adore, he was here to tell us about how AI is being factored into the workplace and how those of us who are professionals are going to have to better incorporate AI. And one of my concerns with AI, artificial intelligence, is that every time you search something on an artificial intelligence platform, it consumes an extraordinary amount of water, because the heat that is generated from the databases that are putting together the answers to your search get very hot, and they can't have salt water to cool them off. They have to have fresh water to cool them off. So think about you all of us, we're supposed to have what, 8 cups of water a day. Well, Grok, every time you enter something into that search engine, every time you go to ChatGPT, it is also drinking a significant amount of water a day. And just selling, some of y'all just go on AI just to say hi or how you doing. That is like a 16-ounce bottle of water that your exchange with this artificial intelligent platform took. And so what are some of the resources that are so attractive to an Elon Musk about your community? I mean, it's a beautiful
Mm-hmm.
community, I'm sure, but is there
Right.
something particular about the natural resources there that
Yeah.
make you attractive to him in ways that other communities are not?
I mean, I think about it in three ways, right? You think about the air, you think about the water, and you think about the politics. So, air, we obviously are living in a moment where the processes that are supposed to protect our environment, the people who are supposed to protect our environment, are not willing to do so. And for us right now, that's the Shelby County Health Department, who has had
Mm.
relegated authority from the EPA for a number of years to do the work of protecting our air. Since Mayor Lee Harris has been mayor, nothing has been done, and likely even before that. And so there was an opportunity to exploit the lack of democratic institutions that would otherwise protect people. Similarly,
Mm.
you have the weakened political infrastructure of the mayors. One mayor, again, invisible Lee Harris, he doesn't speak or show up about anything. And it's been a year before he said anything. And the one thing he said about this project that is one of the most environmentally racist projects that we have going on in the country, he said, "Well, I don't have any concerns about it." right? No
Oh,
concerns. And he's the mayor of a county, right? And so it's like
uh,
our political deprivation is real.
I'm sorry. You
Yeah.
said Mayor Lee Harris. He doesn't have
Hmm.
concerns about the environmental racism. I just Googled. I might have Googled incorrectly, and I don't know how much water my Googling just took up, but he's black. Am I correct?
That is correct.
What are the
The
racial
he
demographics of his district, if you don't mind?
majority black, about
So
55% in
the,
the
the
county, 60% in the city.
I just want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly because I'm a
Hmm.
little traumatized from my own mayoral experience right now. You have a
Yep.
black mayor of a
Hmm.
predominantly black city that is being targeted with environmental racism, and that mayor doesn't have any concerns about this.
You see my problem. Uh,
Hmm.
and the leader of the health department is a black woman, Dr. Michelle Taylor. And the mayor of Memphis,
Huh.
Paul Young, is a black man as well. But the reality is, being black does not guarantee you outcomes that are for the benefit of black people, particularly when it comes to
Wow.
money, right? And there's been a refusal to this point of our elected and appointed leaders to look at the research, to look at the information, to look at the facts that would have them to act. Instead,
Hmm.
they're enjoying the propaganda of the chamber and of Elon Musk's XAI company and telling us and spewing that back to us as fact. And the people here smart enough to know the difference, right? We get stuff in the mail saying, hey, a lot of people already checked this project out. There's no reason for you to think about it. Hey, this is just going to be as much pollution as a gas station. Don't think about it. But folks who live here, who live with the reality of a cancer risk that's 4 times the national average, who live with the
Hmm.
reality of 17 toxic release inventory facilities surrounding our community, Shelby County has an F in air quality and has had an F in air quality from the American Lung Association for the last 8 years. This past year,
Okay.
the Asthma and Allergy Foundation listed Memphis as an asthma capital of the United States of America. Um,
My God.
we have more children going to the hospitals and the emergency department for asthma and respiratory related illnesses in Shelby County than any other county in the state of Tennessee. This stuff's not accidental. This is our reality. But we're dealing with people who don't want to understand the facts. They like the propaganda. And even the mayor, he wrote an op ed just the other day called Facts Over Fear, right? And
Hmm.
you want to know something interesting? 2 months ago, thousands of us got mailers with no one's name on it. But you know what the title of it was? The company? Facts Over
My.
Fear.
Oh my God.
It's
So
like
he's using
some
the same language as
exactly.
the
If it
people
wasn't him,
benefiting. Wow.
exactly.
I've been told about an aquifer that you all have in
Hmm.
Tennessee, and
Hmm.
aquifers, as I understand it, we've had Dr. Moses West on this show before of the Moses West Foundation. We have a real understanding as to the fact that water is life, and you all
That's
have an
right.
aquifer in Tennessee that has also come under issue. Can you talk with us a little bit
Hmm.
about how that is also coming to play in this battle?
Absolutely. So you have that political deprivation, and then you have the two natural resources that are sort of most relevant here, which is dealing with our air and dealing with our water. They have been permitted to use at least 1 million gallons of water a day.
Oh my God!
Today, they are trucking in water, so we're getting pollution from the trucks that they're using. But for the facility, the one facility, and that's what I got to tell you, they expanded. So for the one facility in South Memphis or Paul Lowry Road, they've been trucking in 1 million gallons of water a day. They are
My
built a
God!
second facility that's 2 million square feet, and they have not said two things: how they're going to cool it and how they're going to power it. We don't know. And so the assumption now is that they will use well over 1 million gallons, likely need well over 1 million gallons of our aquifer water. And for people who don't know what an aquifer is, 500 feet underneath our ground, right? You tap into our shallow aquifer, you go 1,000 more feet, you're into the Memphis sand aquifer. This water that we drink was rainwater 2,000 years ago. It's taken
Mm,
2,000 years to a purification, right, to get to the point that we now drink it. That's why we actually have some of the best water in the world, and millions of gallons of it is being used to uh, power corporations and industrial polluters. So
mm.
that's one of our significant issues, and we don't know how they're going to power this other plant, but they've explored 45 to 90 gas turbines for their second
My
facility.
God!
And instead of putting it in Memphis, they're considering just putting it across the border in South Haven. Like these things are real, and the
Wow!
consequences are real to our community. But we've been dealing with this a long time without people in power caring. And it's that
Mm.
exploitation over the years that has gotten us to where we are.
So we're really talking about this. This feels like Octavia Butler on steroids in some ways. We're talking about corporations that, without permits, and I want to come back to that in just a minute. They have no permits,
Mhm.
which means they haven't been given legal permission to do this thing. They're just doing it in the absence. It sounds like in the absence of anybody checking them, and so they're
That's
without
right.
permits, poisoning the atmosphere, the physical air that you all are breathing, such that you are now breaking records in terms of asthma rates as it pertains to comparison between you and the rest of the country, over consuming water, and considering the fact that water is a scarce resource, where and if it took 2,000 years for that water to get there, we're not going to be here, sir, in another 2,000
No,
years. I don't. So we're in a moment right now where it seems like the lawlessness that you're describing feels very similar to what happened with Newark City, with Newark Mayor Ras Baraka when he was in his official capacity at Delaney Hall to provide oversight, because they had just opened up, ICE had opened up a detention facility there, no permits, no certificate of occupancy. You had congressmen getting arrested. Congresswoman LaMonica McIver is now facing felony charges as
that's
a
right.
result of what's happening. And so it feels like this sort of lawlessness on behalf of private entity. In New Jersey,
That's
it's so there's this private prison corporation. You're talking about elongated muskrat, or Elon Musk's private prison, or private prison, a private entity for Grok. It feels as though billionaires having unlimited access to do whatever they want, and political representation not
Mhm.
speaking out about that feels like a norm that I'm very uncomfortable with. And yet here you are as an elected official speaking out on the very thing that others in your community and and other members of the elected class in your state have failed to do so. Why have you taken this up? And talk to us about some of the risks that you're facing now as a result of
Mhm.
being one of the, feels like one of the few black elected officials who's actually speaking out about the issues that matter to black people, at least the black
Yeah.
people who need to breathe air and drink water.
Exactly, just those ones, just those ones. I mean,
Right.
for me, and I'm really trying, and I'm going to be even more intentional working to build a coalition of more elected officials who care about clean air, right? Because the truth of the matter is, this shouldn't be so partisan, right? Like it's not,
Right.
it shouldn't be political to say, I believe you deserve to breathe clean air. Believe you deserve to drink fresh water, right? That shouldn't be a political statement, and yet it is. And so I'm looking to build our coalition from state representatives to education commissioners to Shelby County commissioners, because there are people at varying levels who have shown more support. But the fact that our two executives, the two leaders of this area, have refused to really grapple with the challenge that this economic development project that they were so happy about and so excited about is having real consequences for the people who live here,
Mm.
is deeply disturbing. And you're saying it just perfectly, because a lot of people, they get so focused on what's happening in DC and what's happening with Donald and what's happening up there, that they don't realize that even locally, under Democratic leadership, we are seeing our democracy suffering. We're
Wow.
seeing the institutions and the people who are supposed to protect us suffering for the benefit of the billionaire class, right? For the benefit of
Mm.
corporations, the people are being sacrificed. And everyone's saying, well, what was the trade-off? People in my community, my constituents here, and also my neighbors, what was the trade-off? What was the trade-off? And I told them just as plainly as this, the trade-off was our lungs, right,
Wow.
for the wealth of the richest man in the world. That's what
Wow.
was exchanged. That's what was auctioned off. It was us. And now the mayor says, well, they've applied for 15 permits now. Apply for a permit to use 15 gas turbines, and those gas turbines that they're going to use are going to be safer. They're going to be cleaner. They're going to have more technology. And I told him, I said, you're the mayor. Why didn't you make sure that it was the safest, cleanest technology a year ago?
Right.
But now everybody's hoping in September things are going to get better. But you know what? By then, 17.2 tons of formaldehyde has been spread into the air. Over a
Oh my
thousand
God.
tons of nitrogen oxides have been put into the air. More pollution than the Memphis International Airport, right? Like we are already dealing with the consequences. And you know what? You can't get that back. And so
Right.
when people misuse their positions, they spread information that's not true or half true, it does harm, not just to the movement, but literally to the people who you're supposed to represent. And it's very
Mm.
frustrating to have somebody who says that they're the mayor of the city have to get in front of the camera every time and say, I'm not the spokesperson for XAI, Elon Musk company, because everything that you're doing is showing us that you're the spokesperson for XAI and not the mayor of Memphis. Because
Wow.
you know who didn't hire a spokesperson? Elon Musk and XAI. They didn't hire a spokesperson.